G'day, it's Austin. In this video, I want to talk about the one question that made me rich in my 20s and how this question has really just shaped my life. It's shaped how confident I am in what I need to do to achieve all of my goals. It completely flipped and removed any self-doubt that I had, and it's just made it much easier to achieve bigger targets. And just for a bit of context, if you don't know me, my name's Austin. I'm initially from Adelaide in South Australia. I've been building online businesses for the past 4 years and collectively made over 25 mil with those businesses and millions in profit across e-commerce and across education and a few other business models in between, like agency and affiliate marketing. I've tried a few things in my journey. Now, if I was to rewind before I reveal what that one question is, I just want to help illustrate how valuable this is. And if I was to rewind back to when I was first starting, or even in the latter years of high school, I had this really strong sense of self-confidence. I believed that if I wanted to achieve something, I could do it. But what I found is that it reached a point where, yes, you have this self-belief, but what do you actually have to do? And I often found myself thinking that I was super productive and I would spend all this time just doing needless tasks. You know, when I was first building my videography business, if I went back now and I had to grow that, I would just do things so differently. Yes, because I understand this one question now that I didn't understand back then, but I was just wasting so much time on things that weren't important. And you might feel the same way as well, is that you see all these people on social media absolutely killing it in their 20s and getting incredible results, millionaires making millions. And they're just doing so well for themselves. And you think, surely it can't be that difficult. They didn't go to university. I didn't go to university. And I see these people online making so much money having not gone to university. So it can't be that. They're doing a business model like dropshipping or like agency or like high ticket closing or something. They're doing something like that. And it's working for them. And I'm doing the same business model. So why is it not working for me? Like, you're looking at all these things, and it's all because these successful people have asked themselves this one question, either directly or they've somehow stumbled across it. And this one question, when I look at the points in my life where I finally asked myself this question, everything changed. Everything. My results just skyrocketed quickly as well. And after constantly trialing and pushing and trying to make my businesses grow, everything just accelerated when I asked myself this question. And I took the answer seriously. You ready for the question? Okay, I'm gonna stop beating around the bush here. Let me tell you what the question is. The question that you need to ask yourself is, what would I need to do so that it would be unreasonable that I do not hit my goals? Let me say that again. What would I have to do so that it would be unreasonable that I don't hit my goals? The unreasonable part is so important there. It's not, what do I have to do to hit my goals? Because you can come up with 1,000,001 things. I should do this, I should do that, I should do this, I should do that. But if you ask yourself and you put unreasonable in there, what level of action is required and what would I have to do so that it would be unreasonable for me not to achieve the goal? Unreasonable. So of course, this will probably require a little bit more work. It will require you to go above and beyond. But at least then you're doing what is required in order to achieve that. And so if I was to look back at what I was doing with even my agency or with my local video business years ago, I didn't ask myself this question. The question I asked was, I'd set arbitrary goals and then say, how do I hit these goals? And yeah, maybe I'd come up with some good ideas, but I'd end up wasting a lot of time. And if I just added the unreasonable part to the question, I'm sure I'd be so much further ahead. Because when you ask yourself what would need to be done so that it is unreasonable that you hit your goals, what would make it just so silly that you wouldn't hit your goals? Like, if you did these things, it would just really stack the deck in your favor. When you ask yourself that question, it gets you to think of everything that you would need to do. And also overestimating what you might need to do because you need to make it unreasonable that you don't succeed and achieve that target. So this puts you in this state of mind of where you will do what is required, not just what you think needs to be done. So to get really practical now with you, because I know we've phrased this as this big, all-powerful question that is going to allow you to achieve everything you want in life, great, we've got that. Now, how do we actually apply this? Well, the first step before we even ask ourselves that question is we need to have a goal that we can apply that to. We need to have a vision for the future that we can apply that to and think, what would I have to do for it to be unreasonable that I don't hit that goal or achieve that vision or that dream life? And so the way that I've done it is I'll create a vision board. And that vision board is a series of images, you may have made one before, a series of images that represent what my dream life looks like. That's where we're going to start. We're going to create that vision board. Now, how do we actually find those images? I find Pinterest to be a great place to start. Maybe even Instagram, if there's certain people that you follow that you really like how their lifestyle looks or things they've achieved, you can get those images. Screenshot, save it onto your computer so you can make that vision board. Looking through Pinterest as well, I find super valuable, and even just Google Images. You're finding images that represent what your dream life looks like. Not what someone else's does, what your dream life looks like. And I found when I was first creating vision boards that I'd make them and I'd put things on them that were other people's, I guess, symbols of success. And over time, I've really made sure that the things that I'm putting on my vision board are extremely aligned with who I am and what I want, regardless of what everyone else wants. And so you need to look on Pinterest, Google Images, or even just reflect on anyone you're following on social media that inspires you and motivates you. And you look at that and you say, I want my life to look like that. And so you want to gather those images and then use a tool like Canva for free to put them all on one landscape A4 page. And we just want to put them all on there like a little collage of this is what your dream life should look like. And once you've done that, we then want to calculate what is called your dream life income. And so you look at everything on that vision board. And the question you ask yourself, before we ask the big question, the question we ask ourselves is, how much would this life cost? How much money would I need to earn in order for this dream life to become a reality? And that's going to be your dream life income. Now, there may be things on there where it's a larger purchase price, or there may be things on there, it's a new home or, travel or things like that. Just give it your best estimate. Not a lump sum, but how much would you need to be making per month in income net in order to achieve this dream life? And so once you've got that number, now we can ask ourselves the big question. Now we can ask ourselves, what would I need to do in order for it to be unreasonable that I don't hit, let's say it's 10K a month, for it to be unreasonable that I don't hit $10,000 a month in income? Then at the end, I would add by this date. Make it specific. We don't just want it to be open-ended. By this point in the exercise, we already know what our dream life is. We know what the income would be to achieve that dream life. And now we can ask this question so that we can come up with exactly what needs to be done in order to achieve it. And why I love using this question is because it gets you to think beyond. It's not just, I need to do this. If you decide that e-commerce is the business model that you want to use to achieve these targets, it wouldn't just be, find a product. It wouldn't just be, write 10 product ideas down. It would be unreasonable for me to think that I would not hit 10K a month in profit within the next 3 months if I launched X number of new products. So again, it's getting you into a different frame of mind. You're thinking like, this is the bare minimum level, but this is what would be required for it to be unreasonable that I don't hit that target. And so it just elevates the amount of work that you'll have to do, but also elevates your expectations of the work that is required to achieve that target. Now, you might find that you actually achieve it without doing 100% of everything you list out, but that is what makes this so effective. And now when I set goals, now when I'm writing them out and I'm thinking about all the things that I need to do, the question I'm always asking myself is, what would I need to do so that it would be unreasonable that I don't achieve that goal? This is the question that changed everything for me. And I hope by you asking yourself this question, it can change everything for you too. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.